Hello, my name is Bud Kraus, and I teach people how to use WordPress. And today I'm going to show you how to use DesktopServer and why you'd want to use it to begin with, or what it is. So I'm going to show you. Now, the purpose of DesktopServer, it's a software that's made by a company called ServerPress. The sole purpose is to turn your computer into a server so that you can install WordPress in your computer. And this will mean that you don't need to develop your websites online using a web server. You can do it just right from your own computer. In fact, it's the only way to create WordPress websites on your computer is that you have to install a server. And the best way to do it is to use DesktopServer. The reason why I say best way is there are other ways to do it. You can use software like MAMP or XAMPP or WAMP, or there's all these different kinds of ways to do it. But this is the easiest, least yucky way to do it. So I've already installed the software called DesktopServer over here, and I'll just show you how to do it. So I'm clicking on, I've launched the application, and the first thing I'm going to need to do is to turn on the server in my computer. Now, when I say server, you don't have to worry about anybody accessing your website on your computer, okay? It's not on the internet. This is all going to be local, all right? That is on your computer. So I'm going to put in my, okay? And you'll see that there's a couple different options I have here. It defaults to create a new website. But I can also remove websites that are on my computer, or I can move or copy websites, or I can do all kinds of things. But this is going to be really nice. So I'm going to create a new site. Now, it prompts me to put in a URL. And I just leave it at the default. But let's just take out the default. So I'm just going to enter, let's say, test 2. Okay. And I just arbitrarily picked out my URL. Now it says .dev, which you know there is no such thing as a .dev website. Okay, this is all going to be on my own computer. And here it tells me what version of WordPress I'm installing, and it also tells me the location where I'm going to install it. Now I can change this if I want. See, you've got the browse button over here. But I'm going to leave it right where it is. It's going to be installed in the document/website/test2.dev folder on my computer. Next thing I do is continue, and you'll see that I'm going to just let this process out. Done. Very nice. Okay, so everything's done for me. Now I'm going to click on this URL, and it opens up Safari. And let's see what we have here. There we go. Okay, great. Now I have to continue or complete the WordPress installation. And this would be true no matter how you're setting up WordPress. You still have to finish it. So I'm going to pick the language that I use, English, American English. Oops, that's not quite ready for us to, still processing. Okay, we just had to wait a second or two for that. Now we're going to put in the site title, and it's just a test site, so WP site test is fine. I'm going to put in my username and my email addresses. I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to use this in a bit. For password, put in something pretty simple that I use all the time. Again, this will be so I can log into the WP admin. Remember, the website's going to be on my computer. And I'm going to make sure I have an email address for the site. And great success, we're done. Okay, so I'm going to just log in. Let's do that right over here. Log in and put in my okay. And now this website is on my computer. If you look at the URL, it's test2.dev. This is not on the internet. And I'm going to show you in a second. It really is on my computer. And it looks just like any website looks when you install it. One of the nice things about installing WordPress on your computer is that you don't get a whole lot of advertisements and things like that you might get if you use a web hosting. But the real reason why you would do this is if you are creating websites on your computer and you don't want to wait to refresh and update and all that other kind of stuff when you are working on a site that's live, it's on the internet, one that you're using a web hosting service. So, and yes, when you develop your site here locally, when you're done, you can definitely migrate it to your web hosting service so that everybody can see your site. Okay. One thing I did say I was going to show you is the fact that the website is definitely installed locally. Let's go to where it says Documents, Website, and Test 2. Oh, here we go, Test 2, sorry. And we have all the files that we need for the site are right over here. So if you're familiar with how WordPress, the core of WordPress works, you know, you've seen WP admin, WP content, and all the WP config and so forth. You've seen all these files before. This is just on my computer, all right? So I didn't have to FTP to the server to get access to my files, nothing like that. It's just all right here on my computer, which makes it a lot easier, I think, to work with and to create the site. All right, one other thing that's really nice about using DesktopServer, I'm going to launch Chrome here, and if I just type in the word localhost, now as long as my server is running, which it is, DesktopServer is active. In fact, it's right over here, it's active. It shows me a list of, just by typing in the word localhost, it shows me all the other websites that I've installed in a really easy way to see everything and to manipulate everything. So here's test2.dev, which I just installed. If I want to visit the website or view the website, I can do that. If I want to see the dashboard, I can click over here. Well, we've seen all this, so I don't have to do that. But here's what I really like too, is that if I just clicked on that, I can access the database. So this is really great. I have immediate access to the database if I need to manipulate or add or change, or if I know how to do any of that stuff. I have access to the database. And in fact, if I have to export the database, which I will eventually have to do, and import it to a web hosting service so that I can put everything online, I'm going to need to have easy access to my database. So that's the story. That's it in a nutshell. I suggest that you try it out. Now you can try out DesktopServer. You can install 3 websites for free. After that, you have to pay a fee on an annual basis. I believe it's $100 to be able to install more than 3 sites. So here I obviously have more than 3 sites. And this is really a nice way to develop and design your sites locally without having to use a web hosting account.